9 News Investigates has now learned a second member of Colorado's water quality lab resigned amid an investigation into a chemist who manipulated data. We broke the story on Monday that 69 public water systems were notified that their data may have been jeopardized.
The chemist accused of falsifying data was put on administrative leave and resigned. The medical director told us that the chemist supervisor who allegedly ignored a complaint about her left the department too. 9 News consumer investigator Steve Stater pressed the state's medical director today on why the state never notified the public that something was wrong.
Mark, that interview comes after we've learned more about the timeline of this lapse in quality control, a problem that led to the recall of water quality data for 69 public water systems, including some school buildings, Fort Carson, and a few small towns in Colorado. He tells us as the department has no concern about health risks related to this, and that it wouldn't have been protocol to tell the public in the first place.
We realized earlier this year that one of our chemists was manipulating quality control results.
Leadership may have found that out earlier this year, but 9 News Investigates learned problems with this chemist seem to have been discovered much earlier. An internal report we obtained says the chemist took a long vacation after Thanksgiving last year, and during that time, a supervisor took over the chemist's work.
The way it was discovered was the chemistry manager realized that there might be a problem, went to their supervisor, a deputy director, and then after about a month realized that the deputy director hadn't done anything.
Dr. Ned Kalanch is the medical director for CDPHE. He told us today the deputy director who held on to that information resigned instead of being punished.
While no test result was changed, what was altered was the control results that are used to calibrate the machine after a certain number of samples have been run.
But can you trust the data if the control sample was wrong?
Nothing would raise to that level of an acute public health risk.
On Monday, 9 News Investigates was the first to tell the public of this problem, a problem that led the state to recall water quality data for 69 public water systems, including schools, a military base, a prison, and small towns across Colorado. This after the EPA cited the data manipulation and revoked Colorado's certification to test for certain metals in water, including barium, chromium, and copper. CDPHE leadership first learned of the chemist's manipulation in February, but didn't notify the water systems until August.
How do you ensure folks at home to have faith in the work that you're doing if we know that there was a problem that wasn't disclosed until a reporter reported it?
The process we would use is what we followed. We detected a potential lapse in quality control. We had to investigate it, which required going through thousands of tests by hand and looking at each one to try to determine even what the chemist might have been doing. I think it's also important to notice that we wouldn't normally do a public notification unless there was an immediate public health threat.
The chemist accused of manipulating the data retired in May after their bosses laid out the findings of an investigation, now leaving lab leadership to clean up a mess.
I think retrospectively, thinking about the response to the lapse in quality control is something we're going to learn from and move going forward.
Kalanch tells me the lab has hired a consultant to overhaul quality control, and he says they're still doing an analysis of this chemist's work dating back to 2020. But he very confidently said today he doesn't believe water quality is in any way out of whack because other testing would have picked it up before this lapse. Guys.
Yeah, it's important just to know about this stuff, though. And Steve, we appreciate you bringing that to light.
Of course.
If you have a tip for our team to investigate, make sure to email it to investigates@9news.com.